Are you getting ready? Good morning, everybody. JT here, Serenity Farms, prepping. Yes, I am preparing. This weekend is going to be cold for us, the coldest we've had yet. Minus 11 Friday night, minus 15 Saturday night, minus 7 or 8 Sunday night. But with wind chills and others, we could get minus 20, maybe more south of us, ironically, higher elevations, okay? So, although we don't appear to be in the major path of what's coming, sorry, I had to turn it around. So, while we don't appear to be in the major path, we will be affected, as some areas are expecting 2 or 3 inches of ice, and it only takes half an inch to an inch on the tree limbs to bring them down onto those guys. So I've already lost power here twice this year for, don't know what the first one was, and the second one didn't appear to be that bad either, but it doesn't have to be. The grid is antiquated. That means old for tards, okay? So I advise, because I care for all of you, that everybody stock up on some stuff. Some food, some water, some medicine. You know the drill. I have said this at least 100 times over the last couple of years. And an SHTF isn't always going to be what's coming down the road. An SHTF is whatever farks up your little world. And your little world could be getting ready to get farked up. So let's say they get the ice storm that they're talking about. The northeast grid is pathetic, okay? Now, it would really take a massive, massive storm for the northeast grid, all of it, with several separate entities like NYSEG and Niagara Mohawk and Quebec and a few others. They would all have to go down. But the lines are connected. At some point, it's at a power station. One municipality comes in and stops, turns around, goes back, and another one comes out of that power station and is servicing a different area. If the power station goes down, both municipalities are. Now, there was a weather report I saw. This guy didn't appear to be fear-mongering or trying to cause hysteria or talking about invading Greenland or anything like that. He was saying that certain areas of the country, they're simply never ready for even the simplest little weather event because they're soft and their blood is thin. Like Texas and other southern states, they get an inch or two of snow, like New York City, and they all freak out, lose their shit, shut down the cities, and nobody can move because they're clueless, okay? It's just the way that they've always been. I mean, clueless. But, so, I have filled up my diesel and my gas cans. Diesel for a small diesel heater that I have that I can run anywhere. Virtue of my little 12 volt, 35 amp hour battery, I can get 12 hours out of that thing on 2. That's pretty good, and it throws some heat. So a 5-gallon can of diesel on that would last me at least 3-4 days. And I have several. Okay, I got my solar and my generator, but it's also going to be nice and cold, so my extra freezers, it's okay if there's no power. They'll be fine. Excuse me. All right, hand was getting a bit nippy. So next, my man cave is also powered by solar, and I do have some water lines in there that I could shut and flush really quick, and then not a lot would go on in there, but I like it warm, and I like wanting to go in there and watch a movie and have a beer. So my little solar generator runs that one, and the cabin will be fine. I've got my wood stove and my pellet stove, and my solar generator will run that like nothing. I have a lot of water saved up that I always have, just so I can feed the chickens with it, not have to worry about hauling water from the house. I have multiple 5-gallon cans filled with water. About the only thing I really going to need water for is if I want to flush the toilet. But my solar generator will run my 220 well pump because I wanted one strong enough to do at least that. Well, it won't run the whole house and the well pump. Not at the same time, but my well pump runs for approximately 30 seconds and fills up my water tank. So I can turn everything else off if needed for 30 seconds. But it'll run the well pump and a couple other devices. My refrigerator, I will do 3 hours on, 3 hours off cycle just to save batteries in my solar generator. Same with the freezer, except you can get 5 hours without electricity, and then you only need to run it for about 2 to crank it back up. My freezers are lined with cardboard, which picked me up probably an extra hour on both ends and takes up no extra space. So you really need to consider the fact that this may not be just a 2 or 3 hour, 2 or 3 day, and in some places 2 or 3 week power outages. This could go longer because if it is as bad as they say it can be in certain places, that means that the crews can't get where they need to fix it. If anybody remembers our great ice storm here, and I think everyone does, yeah, now multiply that times 4, okay? So, you need to make sure you got everything you need. You need to make sure your elderly neighbors and relatives got everything they need. If it looks like it's going to be bad, bring them to your house for a few days. Button theirs down, make sure they got what they need. Understand that some people are going to have some pipe issues, potentially, even with us just being 15 or 20 below. Happens every year. Be careful when you decide what you're going to do to try and thaw pipes. Remember the people that are out there trying to do all this for you. They're doing their best. They got their own houses, their own families to look after, and still they're out there trying to help you. So you help someone else if you can. That's just the way that it should be. Okay? Now, remember, with no electrical grid, there are no stores. There are no gas pumps. Now, the hospitals have generators. They have large fuel tanks. But hospitals are quite large. So, I don't know exactly how long they're prepared to go. But let's just say I doubt it's a month okay? I don't know if it's even a week. Just assume that it's not, okay? If no one's coming to save you is the bottom line. We need to take care of ourselves. The less we need to count on someone else for our survival, the better off we are. That doesn't mean that I don't have people who are counting on me. I just don't count on anyone else. Not because I don't trust anyone or don't think they can't handle it, but I believe I've done all the things that I need to get by, where I don't have to count on anyone else, which allows me to help others if they need it. Now, with no electric, it would be kind of difficult to drive around for a long time helping other people. And at some point, I'm just one man with limited resources, so I have to, hopefully not, but I may have to pick and choose who I get to help, just as you may have to choose that as well. So you need to get with people now to literally ask them what they're doing to get ready, just in case. If they're elderly or sickly, ask them if they need anything that you can get for them so they don't have to go out now, because you're probably going to be going out. Use your noggin. If there's ice, I got my ice spikes. I walk around. It's pretty cool. I want you to see something. I know it's an aside, but with about a foot of snow and an extra wood pile, I got some raspberry bushes that are in the snow, and a couple of the bushes are really moving above the snow, except that there's no wind blowing. So I'm assuming that there's a mouse or a squirrel under the snow chewing on them. Let's see. I got to turn this, stop the filming, and then hit the button. I could see the hole, so something just climbed down in there or climbed out, and there's another hole over there. So odds are, see, it's a mouse or a squirrel. Oh, I see your hole right there. So they could be anywhere underneath this hole pile. Okay, it was cute, but they took off. All right, sorry for that interruption. I get distracted easy, and but it's just the way that animals work under there. It's probably tunnel system all underneath that. Chipmunks or a mole or a squirrel or a mouse. They're staying warm. So I'm going to get over here to the pellet pile again. For the last 20 minutes, I've been trying to come over here to bring in a couple bags. But I've been talking to you guys. All right, I got to get this done. It's starting to snow a little bit. But, folks, right now, start making your list. We still have a couple days. Today's Wednesday, I think. So you got today, you got Thursday, you got Friday, you probably even got Saturday, and there's no guarantee our power's going to go out and that you're going to need anything extra. But it's better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. So go get prepared, and I'll talk to you again soon. All right? JT, signing out.